So one of the top reasons that I hear people rehoming their livestock guardian dogs is because of these guys, chickens. People have livestock guardian dogs eating chickens left and right, and there's a lot of reasons for this. I thought that I would take a little bit of time today to make a video kind of discussing livestock guardian dogs and poultry, why it's different than livestock guardian dogs and normal stock, and then what we can do about training our livestock guardian dogs to be poultry safe, but also having realistic expectations that some dogs just won't be poultry safe. So first, let's talk about what the difference is between livestock, such as cattle, sheep, and goats, and poultry. One of the main differences that I see is that these guys' behaviors are totally different than mammals. They do not have the same kind of social behaviors that other mammals have. And livestock guardian dogs are mammals. They understand bonding behavior of sheep, goats, even cows, but they don't understand any bonding behaviors with the poultry. So they don't really bond to them in the same manner that they would bond to, say, goats. Reason number two is that poultry are just fun to play with. They are squeaky, flappy, loud, and they trigger these guys' prey drive. Whether or not you've been told that livestock guardian dogs don't have prey drive, it's a myth. They have what I like to call distinguishing prey drive, selective prey drive. And what this means is that they have instincts to chase things that are not part of their family, their stock, their flock. So they understand the difference between a cow that is mine and a cow that's my neighbor's right over the fence. They will chase off the neighbor's cows. They understand the bunny rabbit that's not supposed to be here, the squirrel that's not supposed to be here, or the avian predator that's not supposed to be here. So that is something really, really special about these dogs. They understand and are sensitive to differences like that, so minute that you wouldn't think they'd be smart enough to pick up, but they are. With chickens, they kind of get triggered into prey drive, right? Because they squawk and they flap and they make a lot of noise, and especially for young puppies, that is just almost too much fun to resist. A lot of people think that if the puppy was raised with chickens, then everything will be good to go and the puppies will always be good with chickens, but that's just not the case. These dogs will hit a stage where chickens are less scary and more fun. So here's the truth. If you take a young livestock guardian puppy and expose it to poultry from a young age, it will do pretty well with the poultry for a time period if there's no human intervention. That's because the birds are bigger than the puppies and they are intimidated by them. But once the puppies gain some size and they're 12 to 14 weeks old, they have more confidence, they're more playful, they are more energetic, they're moving around. These birds tend to start being fun to chase around and watch them squeak and flap. And if you let that go on too long, they will go from playing with chickens to eating chickens. And so this is where people's expectations being realistic is super duper important. So I don't have time to go into it all today, but I am going to make a video on how I do poultry training. So keep an eye out for a video where I talk about that more in depth. There's a myth out there that says if your dog has eaten a chicken or 5, that it will always want to eat chickens because now it has a taste for blood. This is just not true. Livestock guardian dogs can be trained. They need a shepherd who is teaching them boundaries, limitations, and expectations, teaching them what is and is not acceptable, and they need somebody to enforce those rules, which requires a present shepherd. If you have a dog who has eaten a chicken or 2, Dragos actually got a hold of one of my turkeys. My fault, completely. I thought he was ready. I put out one of the younger turkeys. It was smaller. He wasn't intimidated by it and decided to make it a snack. So does that mean that he will never be poultry safe? No, but he does have a higher instinctual desire to kind of chase these birds and get a rise out of them than Charlie or even Audrey here does. So he's going to take a lot more work. But just because a dog has eaten a chicken or a turkey or a duck does not mean they are now and forever ruined and that they're never going to be poultry safe. So the final thing that I wanted to touch on is not all livestock guardian dogs will mature to be poultry safe. And I don't think this is something that a lot of people understand when making the commitment of getting a livestock guardian dog. So if the only reason that you're getting a livestock guardian dog is for poultry, there's a lot of things that I would do from the get-go before ever. Dragos, come. Dragos, come. See, Dragos needs some work. Leave it. Good boy. So, before, sit. Okay, sit. Good, sit. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it. Dragos is triggered by these guys. It's a little outtake for you. Before making the commitment of getting a livestock guardian dog, especially if your main reason for getting them is poultry, there's a few things that I would check into. Number one, I would ask the breeder if the parents are poultry safe. Genetics does have a lot to do with this. Number two, I would ask what level of exposure and training are the puppies going to have. I take all of my puppies into a chicken run or chicken coop repeatedly throughout their 14 weeks with me to make sure that they have lots and lots of exposure as they're growing to be poultry safe as possible when going home. But I do let my clients know that this is not a promise that these dogs will mature to be poultry safe. And the third thing that I would do is, from the very beginning, have a game plan. I'm going to make a future video on how I poultry train, and I would highly suggest using that from day one when you get home. If you guys have any more questions about poultry training, please go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I'll do my best to address them in my future video when I talk about specific steps for poultry training. Because as you can see, I'm still working with Dragos, and we have a long way to go before he would be considered poultry safe, but I have high hopes for him. I'll talk to you guys next time.